a $393 per month stimulus. That's what we're going to talk about today, because that is what lawmakers are now discussing, because they are worried about the lower income households, even some of the middle income households. Lawmakers say that we need to provide additional support and relief to these households simply because prices have just gone out of control. But what is really going on? Well, that's what we're going to discuss today. All I ask is if you can spend just 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's begin. So here's something that I want to bring to your attention. Over the next few months, we are going to start to see the education department sending out letters and sending out these statements to student loan borrowers. And the reason why they're going to do this is because in this previous debt ceiling bill that we had negotiated and which got passed, this states that the student loan payment pause is going to end. Now, here's the problem. For the past 3 years, student loan borrowers have not had to make a payment to their student loans. They've also not been accruing any interest, which is great. The problem is that has amounted to about a $393 per month bonus or stimulus. This is creating issues now because all these people are now going to be asked to start repaying this debt. Well, here's what I can tell you. We now know that the Supreme Court is likely to rule against this, so there will be no student loan forgiveness of up to $20,000 per borrower. That's not going to happen. But there's still this big number. $393 per month is the average payment that student loan borrowers make every single month. But they haven't had to make that for over 3 years. So what does this mean for Congress? Well, what we are hearing right now is that Congress is talking about additional ways to provide relief, but they know they cannot do it through the typical method, which was just going to provide forgiveness or student debt payment pauses for any additional months. They know they can't do that. But here's the other thing that just came out. Look at this. It says a slow-moving car crash. The U.S. Education Department is set to send out student loan bills for the first time in 3 years, but it had to cut back due to a cash crunch. What could go wrong? Well, we're going to dive into this because we are now seeing that it's not just the American people that are struggling because they don't have enough cash to possibly pay this debt, but the education department is struggling as well. So now we're going to start to see additional talks of providing additional relief to the American people. But just look at this, okay? It says a cash crunch at the U.S. Education Department is forcing officials to cut back on customer service ahead of an unprecedented restart of student loan payments for 43 million Americans. It says officials worry the department may not have enough funding to implement a smooth return to repayment when people are sent student loan bills for the first time since the pandemic began in March of 2020. This is an issue. We are now going to see the education department might not have enough funding to implement what they call their smooth return to repayment. So guess what? Lawmakers are now going to start to ask for additional money to go to the education department. Yeah, this is going to happen. We're already seeing reports that if the education department doesn't have the money, we have to get them the money. Well, yes and no. We should, right, be able to give them the money so that they can operate smoothly, but where is the money going to come from? That's part of the issue. Now, I want to read you this right here. It says it's a slow-moving car crash. I've told you this for the past, couple months, that once this happens, it is going to be devastating. We know it's coming. We see it coming. But there's nothing we can do in the meantime because Congress has to act. Well, this person says, we see what's about to unfold, so let's just prevent it now and just step in and take preventative measures. But how do you do that? Again, that's part of the problem. Now, one thing I can tell you is that we are going to see over and over again what people are going to try to propose, what lawmakers want to see happen. But guess what is coming? What's coming is the appropriations bill for fiscal year 2024. This is the government spending bill. We need to get this passed by the end of September, by September 30th. If not, our U.S. government could shut down, right? We would see a shutdown. Now, here's what I can tell you, though. Within that bill, there is going to be a fight for additional funding for the Department of Education. This is something that we are already expecting because the Biden administration has been doing a pretty good job of trying to forgive student loan debt without having to go through Congress. They've been going after certain, companies, right? Financial institutions, actual institutions, right? Educators. They've been going after all these different, groups, and if they saw any foul play, they're going to potentially just forgive the student loan debt that was tied to it. Now that has helped, but it has not helped enough. Again, what we know, you can see it right here, says according to the Federal Reserve data, the average student loan monthly payment is $393. It says finding nearly $400 every month after a 3-year freeze is not having to pay anything. After a 3-year freeze of not having to pay anything could be tricky, especially if you've slipped into new habits and allocated that cash to other more urgent needs. This is what we've seen. More people have taken the money that they're saving from their student loan debt because they expected it was going to be forgiven. They've taken that money, not saved it. They have spent it on a new car. They've spent it on a new home, whether it was a mortgage or rent. They've spent it on things like medication, vacations, paying down other debts. And so this, again, is part of the problem. What we are hearing right now is the White House is extremely worried because I believe I think the last report says 12% of the student loan, actually it's 40% of the student loan debt is held by the lowest quartile of income earners, right? The lowest. They make less than $25,000 per year. 40% of that debt is held by them. That is a major issue because if now this $393 per month payment that they were paying before is coming back, how do they come up with $393 per month if that was something that they have been using for other things, such as utilities, such as gas for their vehicles, insurance, and other things like that? Again, it's a major problem, and that's why I bring this up, because what most people are not expecting is people to pretty much default on this new debt, this new payment. That's what some people aren't expecting. But the worry is that's what economists are predicting, that we are going to see more and more lower income and middle income households default on their student loan debts. As that happens, again, I think the economy is going to be in trouble. But we will see moving forward. I promise I will be here every step of the way. I will fill you in on what's all the latest news and updates regarding the U.S. economy and regarding Congress. All you got to do is 2 things. First off, hit the like button on this video. Also, click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. And I will see you guys on the next one.